And I think even when life begins in that horrible situation of rape, that it is something that God intended to happen.
Last week, Indiana Senate candidate Richard Mourdock drew controversy for saying that when a woman is raped and becomes pregnant, it's what God intended. In today's post, Melinda Henneberger took the somewhat contrarian position that Mourdock's comments have been misconstrued for political purposes, and then went on for the first time publicly to tell the story of her own rape at the age of 26. Earlier today, we spoke to Melinda about why she wrote the piece and what she's heard back since it was published. I guess I'm curious, first of all, just what the response has been this morning.
The response has been really nice. You know, I hardly ever write a story, including the word abortion, that doesn't draw an angry response and a sort of overheated response, which is normal because that's the most hot-button topic we have in our political life. But this morning's response was really kind and meant a lot to me. There was a gender difference, though, I have to say, in the response.
What was that?
A lot of the women responded by saying, you know, either I'd like to give you a hug even though I don't know you, or, you know, I'd like to shiv that guy.
Yeah.
Whereas the men were more apt to talk about policy implications, you know, to say, I disagree with you on, you know, in your interpretation of what Richard Mourdock said, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which I took to mean that the men were more comfortable staying on the policy level, and women responded more on a more human level.
Yeah. Well, it can be an uncomfortable topic.
Oh,
obviously.
very much so.
So why do you get into it then? Why now?
I think it's something I've thought about for years, obviously, and something that has bothered me over the years, more and more as I've gotten older, is the realization, you know, when I was 26 years old, I really thought the decision about whether or not to go to the police was about me. But the more I've learned about sexual assault over the years, the more cognizant I've become that the chance that that occurred only once is very low. And so I've worried more and more about how many other women that happened to, because I didn't do something to stop it, because I didn't take him to court, whatever the price I might have paid for that. I guess the final thing that happened was when I got a call from an editor the other morning saying, you guys need to get out, beat the bushes, and find a, you know, an actual survivor of rape to interview about, you know, to say how terrible this Richard Mourdock's comment is, because I'm sure anyone who's been raped would really want to fry this guy. But it's going to take some real reporting to find someone who's been raped. And I'm thinking, you know, with 200,000 women raped every year in this country, you have no idea how easy. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person who contributes to She the People who's had this experience. It's incredibly common. And, you know, when I told someone in my own life, because I had not previously told everyone in my family, what I heard back was, gosh, I've never known anyone who's been raped. And that's not true. You do know someone who's been raped. I mean, besides me, we all know many people, whether we realize it or not.
What do you want people to know about Mourdock and how you see his comments versus how some people have interpreted them?
Well, as I said in the piece, Richard Mourdock is a severely conservative guy. I think that it's totally fair game when his opponent, Joe Donnelly, says, here's a guy who has questioned the constitutionality of Social Security and Medicare. But I don't think it's a fair representation to say that he was saying that God is rooting for the rapists or that God is in cahoots with men who want to humiliate women. I think it's absolutely fair to look at the fact that Richard Mourdock opposes, as he says, exceptions for rape and incest. He doesn't believe abortion is right in any instance except to save the life of the mother.
And you also make the argument that it's an understandable position.
Well, to me, it's a consistent position. It's sort of the logical conclusion. If you truly believe life begins at conception, then the logical conclusion is what? No exceptions. It's still a life for rape and incest. I personally don't hold that view, but I do understand why that would be the logical conclusion for someone who does.
Any, I don't know if regret's the right word, but are you glad you did this?
I feel quite relieved. As I said, it's a little bit scary, but it's a big relief.
Melinda, thanks so much.
Thank you.